welcome to this week's episode of Ant on Music. I, of course, am Ant, your humble host, and you know, still trying to get my head around the passing of Ozzy Osbourne. As I'm recording this, they just had his funeral procession through his hometown of Birmingham. Very very sad day for the metal community, and I mourn with everybody that's missing Ozzy as well. Uh, Big fan of Ozzy, always have been. Lucky enough to see him a few times with Sabbath and solo. Um, and we're just going to look at one thing. We're going to look at the See You on the Other Side box, which is plenty to look at, and talk a little bit about, Oz himself, the man, the myth, and the legend. So this is by far the biggest box set that I've ever purchased, and by far the heaviest. This is the See You on the Other Side Volume 2 box set. All right. Very difficult to maneuver when you're trying to hold it up for a camera. Try and show you the inside of it. The back of it has this panel there that shows you everything that's in the box itself. And we're going to talk about that as well. And show you the inside. Like I said, this is a monster. Okay. Got the certificate. Mine isn't signed by Oz. I wasn't lucky enough to get one of the signed ones, but I was fortunate enough to get one of the box sets. The cool thing about this is it has all of Ozzy's solo stuff, all nice and neat, which for me was good because I only have about five Ozzy albums on vinyl. I got them from the period that I was working in radio, most of them. So they're promo copies, which is cool. But it's good to have these, and these are on on heavyweight vinyl, which is nice. Cool thing about this too comes with this Ozzy slip mat right here, which of course has bats on it. And it goes through. We'll talk about the albums as we go through them as well. First one up, obviously we got The Blizzard of Oz with the great late Randy Rhoads. Ozzy and Randy reunited in heaven at this point. And these are all basic black vinyl albums, so no reason to start pulling them out of their sleeves, but you've got your typical lyrics and liner notes. And this album is all killer, no filler. I mean, you've got I Don't Know kicking it off, Crazy Train, Goodbye to Romance, the great acoustic number by Randy D, which was done by Nuno. Nuno has covered that live in concert. Suicide Solution, Ozzy's first song about alcohol, solo. No Bone Movies, Revelation, Mother Earth, and Steal Away the Night. Just excellent performance. Really, it showed Ozzy to be the true talent that he is. And that was a monster, debut album from Oz. Next thing in the box, we have this Ozzy poster. Okay. Great picture of Ozzy and Randy together. And that's the cool thing about this box. It gives you lots and lots of posters if you love to collect those. So you get the idea of what the picture is right there. So give you a little bit of a close up there. So you have that Ozzy and Randy together again. Next up, now this I kind of found kind of weird because they said this was the first time that this was released, and it's actually not the first time that it was released. First time that this was released was actually that picture disc, the Mr. Crowley picture disc. It's the same exact tracks, but this is actually a lot more playable than that. It's like it even has a sticker on it, the original, that says this has surface noise once you play it. Yeah, that's the way things were back then. That's how come I'm not a big picture disc guy. Still, I think I'm scarred probably from that album alone, which I played way too much. And on that has Mr. Crowley on side A, You Said It All, and Suicide Solution. Then you have the second album, Diary of a Madman, and people think the first two are, the height for Ozzy. Like that was the epitome of, the epic height of Ozzy's career with those first two albums. Because of Randy and losing Randy, so terribly in the the plane accident, which really sucked. But I'd fight you on whether or not those are the two best albums. I really like the stuff that he did with Jake, even though they're not as highly regarded by some people. I really love Bark at the Moon. I really love Ultimate Sin, but we'll talk about more about those. So back of this one as well. This one, proper album, lyrics and liner notes, photo of the band, very young looking Rudy Sarzo, Tommy Aldridge, Randy and Ozzy. And, then, as the tour was starting up, unfortunately, Randy was killed in a terrible accident. So another poster, this is what, it obviously looks like when you unfold it. So it's easier to show you on the screen that way. So, promo shot for Ozzy's Diary of a Madman right there. And this is another great album too. You got Over the Mountain, Flying High Again, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, Believer, Little Dolls, Tonight, SATO, and the Diary of a Madman title track. And it was tough, because every time Ozzy brought in a new guitarist, which, you got to give the guy credit. On top of being a fantastic lyricist, he really had an eye for talent as far as guitar players go, because he just seemed to get so many damn good ones time after time. And, I got to give Jakey Lee a lot of credit, because to come in and step into Randy's shoes, and, Randy was well loved, not only by fans, but especially by Oz. Those are huge shoes to fill. But, I think he did a fantastic job. Got your lyrics and liner notes, got your photo of the band there. And you had Bob Daisley, Tommy Aldridge, Don Airey on keys, and of course Jake, very young Jakey Lee on guitars. And this album is another one. For me, it kicks ass from top to bottom. You've got Bark at the Moon, the classic video of Oz, You're No Different, which I really dig. Now You See It, Now You Don't. Rock and Roll Rebel. That side A is just like it's practically perfect. Then you got Center of Eternity, So Tired, a ballad from Oz. Slow Down, and Waiting for Darkness. The album does not disappoint. At least it doesn't disappoint me. And then they really got to kick it up a notch. This is the poster. So you got a ton of posters in this. So you got Ozzy on the Bark at the Moon tour right there. And obviously it folds out. Massive, but not going to sit here doing contortions just to get to show you. Then you have this beast of an album. All right. And this to me sounds phenomenal. It's like I still listen to this album regularly to this day. Ozzy Osbourne's The Ultimate Sin. Just fantastic memories of this time period of Ozzy's career. He really was, killing it, in the studio and live. Album kicks off with Lightning Strikes. Then you've got the title track, Killer of Giants, which is a phenomenal tune. Thank God for the Bomb. Never. Then Shot in the Dark. Everyone remembers the video for Shot in the Dark. Then The Ultimate Sin, which I really dig. That's a fantastic song. Secret Loser, Never Know Why, and Fool Like You. Great stuff, top to bottom. You can't really beat it. Another poster here from the Ultimate Sin time period. And one thing I will say about the box, it's really well constructed. And what they did was they lined the interior with heavy duty foam. So this way there's no bouncing around. So even though, it was shipped pretty far distance to get to me, it should hold up pretty well. Next up, you have the Randy Rhoads tribute album, Ozzy and Randy Together Again Live. And this one is a gatefold. All right. Cool thing, like I said, for me was I own all of these on CD. I had a few on vinyl, not everything on vinyl per se, so it's great to get them all in one big collection right there. And you've got a note from Randy's mom, a letter from Randy's mom addressing the fans in there as well. And this is a 2 LP set. Some photographs, and you got the track listing and the photo of the band right there. And this is a damn solid live set as well. Uh, and on this, you have I Don't Know, Crazy Train, Believer, Mr. Crowley, Flying High Again, Revelation, Mother Earth, Steal Away the Night, Suicide Solution with Randy's guitar solo, Iron Man, Children of the Grave, Paranoid, Goodbye to Romance, No Bone Movies, and outtakes of Randy Rhoads playing D in the studio. I'll show you the back of that as well. Pretty cool. It's like it's the same as it was when it was first released, except they're all gathered together and in the one box. Next up, all right, No Rest for the Wicked. This is another. I think this album's pretty underrated. Actually really dig this album as well. And on this one, this is where we get another change of the guard. We get a very young Zakk Wylde from Southern New Jersey, and you also got Randy Castillo on drums. And this album is pretty damn sharp. Kicks off with Miracle Man, which is a kick at Jimmy Swaggart, appropriately so. Devil's Daughter, Crazy Babies, another fantastic Ozzy video. Bloodbath in Paradise, which I really dig that song. Fire in the Sky, which is great. Tattooed Dancer is awesome. And another song, Pen to Alcoholism, the Demon Alcohol. I love this album top to bottom too. It's kind of hard to beat. The playing on it's fantastic. Production is really good. You've got an invigorated Ozzy because now you have Zakk Wylde in the band, and it's kicked up another level. And Zakk has done several several tours with Ozzy, tours of duty. I mean, not just tours, but tours of duty. He's been in and out of the band. And it's kind of fitting that he was there for the farewell concert and was the guitarist on stage for Ozzy's solo set. Zakk is the man. So it's that you get a No Rest for the Wicked poster right there. Folds out to a giant size. Next in the box, Just Say Ozzy. This is another little EP that they threw out there. And this has Zakk on it, and Randy Castillo, Geezer Butler. Not a bad band. It's talented dudes here. Miracle Man, Bloodbath in Paradise, Shot in the Dark, Tattooed Dancer, Sweet Leaf, and War Pigs. I love Sweet Leaf. Sweet Leaf's such a good tune. And this is probably where Ozzy kind of changed from being like Ozzy Osbourne, the crazy rock star that was biting the heads off bats, biting the heads off doves. Everyone seems to forget about the dove incident. Everyone talks about the bat because I was live and on stage. But there was the incident when he was in CBS's management's, basically their boardroom, and Sharon was trying to get him to get his record deal signed with CBS so they would distribute it with Jet. And they released the dove as a sign of peace, and the dove landed, and Ozzy picked it up and head right off. But that was much earlier. That was back during the Blizzard days. By this point, Ozzy had become, he's like everyone's best friend. He's a household name, and he got together with one of his buddies who's also greeting him up in heaven with, along with Randy. I'm talking about Ian Lemmy Kilmister. Lemmy did a lot of songwriting for this album, No More Tears, and this is a fantastic album. For what it's worth, it probably is the most well received, the biggest biggest charted album of Ozzy's career overall. Had the most singles, and it really is cool. And you've got Mike Inez on bass, you got Ozzy, you got Randy, and of course Zakk is at the helm, sharing duties with songwriting with Oz. Take a look at this. This is also a gatefold. Great picture of the band right there with Oz. And inside, basic black, nothing to see here. So not much to talk about that aside from how killer this track listing is. So you have on here, kicks off with Mr. Tinker Train. I Don't Want to Change the World, and I Don't Want the World to Change Me. What a great song that is. Mama, I'm Coming Home, which fittingly was the last song that Ozzy performed with Zakk at the concert. Then you've got Desire, No More Tears, great song, killer tune. Sin, Hellraiser, which is another Lemmy tune, as well as Mama, I'm Coming Home. Time After Time, which I really dig. Still love that song. Then you've got Zombie Stomp, AVH, and The Road to Nowhere. And on the album, you had Zach, Randy, Bob Daisley on bass, John Sinclair on keys, and Mike Inez, as I said, on bass. And he was also a bit of musical direction as well, as per the liner notes here. So, big time Ozzy album. A lot of chart success with that one. Of course, we've got a poster to go with that. All right. So, got that. Another poster of the Ozman there. And the next thing we have in here is Live and Loud. Now, the one thing that I was disappointed in with this, all right, was if you remember the original CD, and I'm gonna go grab it. Hold on right there. All right. If you remember the original CD, okay, which of course I have, and I have it fairly handy. It came with like the speaker grate on it, which was pretty neat, So, I've kept it in fairly decent shape for something that's nearly 40 years old, but it is a great album, all right. And on this, it's a 2-album set, actually 3-album set on this 2 CD 3-album set. You got that. You got the rear cover there with some photos of the band live, and of course the Ozman dead center. And this is another, Ozzy's always been great live, So we'll take a look at the sleeves. You've got the track listings there, which we'll talk about. I'll show you that front and back. Very cool. And this is another great live album from Ozzy. I'm hoping that in the years to come, there's a lot of stuff in the vault. I mean, I've seen a ton of bootlegs out there. I always prefer, when I can, to get the official, cleaned up version from the soundboard that's, been mixed down properly, as opposed to hearing feedback and stuff like that. But that, I know that's a me thing. That's not a big deal for a lot of people. I'm just particular that way. And on this, we've got the intro, and if you've ever seen Ozzy live, the intros are always fantastic, as far as the videos that he put together. Absolutely hysterically funny. It really showed his personality. Got Paranoid, I Don't Want to Change the World, Desire, Mr. Crowley, I Don't Know, Road to Nowhere, Flying High Again, guitar solo, Suicide Solution, Goodbye to Romance, Shot in the Dark, No More Tears, Miracle Man, the drum solo, War Pigs, Bark at the Moon, Mama, I'm Coming Home, Crazy Train, Black Sabbath, and Changes. And if you haven't seen Youngblood's version of Changes, do yourself a favor, go listen to it with Nuno on guitar and Frank Bello on bass. Just absolutely killer. The kid knocks it out of the park. I got to give credit where credit is due. And we get a poster from Live and Loud of Ozzy. And I like I said, I've seen Ozzy a few times, and I have been fortunate enough to have been blessed with the holy water that Ozzy throws into the crowd and sprays into the crowd with buckets and water cannons. Unfortunately for me, the night that I was blessed by Ozzy, it happened to be raining. So I was already soaking wet, and it was an outdoor venue. So out at Jones Beach, and got shot with the water cannon, which was just lovely. Absolutely lovely. Next up in the box, we've got Ozzmosis, which is a gate. All right. Lots of pictures of Oz. And got a very contemplative Ozzy in the photos. I wonder if he's thinking about burritos, or maybe he's wondering where the cat is. Who knows? If you've seen the Osbournes, you know what I'm talking about. He should have had a deal with Chipotle. Another picture of Oz. Very introspective Ozzy right there. And this is a pretty solid album from Oz as well. I dig it. We've got some cool stuff on here. Perry Mason, I Want You. I Just Want You, Ghost Behind My Eyes, the Thunder Underground, See You on the Other Side, which is the name of the box set. It's a great tune, which was written by Lemmy as well. Tomorrow, all right. Then you have Denial, My Little Man, My Jekyll Doesn't Hide, Old LA Tonight, which is a fantastic song, and Whole World's Fallen Down, and Amy, written for his daughter. So you got that one. He's got, like I said, a couple of standout tracks, but at this point, Ozzy's more of, I guess he's more of a commodity than a performer, so to speak. You know, he became a big business, and we've got yet another poster. Like I said, all these fold out to a gigantic size. Next up, we have got Down to Earth. Kind of an odd cover, but pretty cool. I don't think Ozzy's been this thin in many years. But got some more photos and liner notes in there. Liner notes in this are tiny. I mean, I have glasses on, and can anybody read that? I know I can't read that, which means I know I can't read the CD either. So we have that. And on this one, we have Gets Me Through, Facing Hell, Dreamer, which is a great tune, No Easy Way Out, That I Never Had, You Know, Part 1, Junkie, which was another single, Running Out of Time, Black Illusion, Alive, Can You Hear Them? That rounds out the album. So you have that. And, you know, like I said, pretty decent album. Not fantastic, but this was getting close to the end of the Zakk Wylde run with the band. And this is one of the big keepers. This is why you get box sets like this, because it's the stuff that you want is the stuff that you can't get. So Ozzy's Hand. And this is all B-sides, all right? So with this, Basic Black, cool label. With this one, we have flipping the B-side. You've got You Looking at Me, Looking at You. One Up the B-side. Spiders, which is a great tune. Hero, The Liar. Don't Blame Me. Party with the Animals is pretty cool. Living with the Enemy. Voodoo Dancer, Back on Earth, No Place for Angels, and Walk on Water, the demo of that. So that's what you get here. It collects all the B-sides from singles, which is nice. And then we have another live one from Oz. This one is live live at Budokan, which I think is like the epitome of every like metal band is to play at Budokan. So nice photos from the tour. You got some liner notes in there. Some cool pictures. At this point, Zakk is no longer a baby. He's got his big woodsman's beard. And this has got a pretty cool track listing as well. You know, typical of Ozzy. At this point, you've got I Don't Know, That I Never Had, Believer, Junkie, Mr. Crowley, Gets Me Through, No More Tears, I Don't Want to Change the World, Road to Nowhere, and of course Crazy Train, Mama, I'm Coming Home, Bark at the Moon, and finishing up with the classic Sabbath tune Paranoid. Now this is where we get the changing of the guard again. And it's always when you get a changing of the guard, you get a new perspective on things. We have Black Rain, all right? And this is a gatefold album. I'll show you the gate. All right. You've got your liner notes in there, which if you can read those, God bless you, because I know I can't. And with this, we get Gus G on guitar, all right? And that's pretty cool. You know, with this, we get Not Going Away, I Don't Want to Stop, and Black Rain back to back, which are two great tunes. Lay Your World on Me. Boy, I had a brain freeze. Almost turned into Mitch McConnell there for a second. What else do we got on this one? Lay Your World on Me. The Almighty Dollar. 11 Silver. Civilize the Universe. Here for You. Countdown's Begun. Trapdoor. Nightmare. I Can't Save You, and Love to Hate. So, you know, Black Rain, very cool cover as well. And now we have Scream. And this was one where they actually changed the name of the album. It got out what the original album of the name was going to be. It was going to be called Soul Sucker. And the fans didn't dig it, so they hastily changed it. And I mean, not that it's the most brilliant title in the world, but they named it Scream. It's like, all right, frig it, we'll name it Scream. You've got your liner notes there and a picture of Oz, basically a cameo picture of Oz. You got Let It Die, Let Me Hear You Scream, Soul Sucker, Life Won't Wait. You know, I really dig Let Me Hear You Scream. Digging Me Down, Crucify, Fearless, Time is a great tune. I Want It More, Latimer's Mercy, got some great guitar work on that. I Love You All, Hand of the Enemy, One More Time, and Jump the Moon. Show you the back of that as well. Then we've got a nice Scream poster here as well. Let's get this out. We're almost getting to the bottom of the box. It's almost time. So, you know, got that. Now we're down to the Andrew Watt albums. All right. So with this album, I got to say, I really didn't like the production on it. You know, like any artist, you get good production, bad production from time to time. This one, I really didn't like the production. I didn't like Andrew Watt's production, like his guitar playing on it. Very disappointed in that. Got a couple of good tunes on here. He got in one of his buddies, Elton John, to guest on a track, which was really cool. And apparently they had a really, really special relationship, the two of them. On this, you got Straight to Hell, All My Life, Goodbye, Ordinary Man, the title track with Elton John, which is pretty cool. Under the Graveyard, Eat Me, Today is the End, Scary Little Green Men, Holy for Tonight, and It's a Raid with Post Malone, which is another reason I could do without him. Not a postie. I'm not a fan of Post Malone, and I could do without him. And that's kind of what I feel like when I heard Post Malone was on the album. That was my reaction, and then after hearing Andrew Watt's production. And finally, last but not least, we have Patient Number 9, and I'm not sure about the other box. I mean, the numbered boxes with the autograph. But this has the standard issue cover right there. All right. Now, Watt produced this album, but I actually like this better than the last one, and previous one, I should say, Ordinary Man. This has a ton of guests on it, and the guests really work. I mean, you're talking heavy hitters. You got Jeff Beck, Eric Clapton, two of the blues' best guitar players ever, and arguably Jeff Beck is the greatest guitarist that ever picked up the instrument. You've got Taylor Hawkins, God rest him, Tony Iommi, Mick McCready, Duff McKagan, Chad Smith, Rob Trujillo, and of course, coming back to the fold one last time, Mr. Zakk Wylde. And on this, we got Immortal, the title track, Patient Number 9, Parasite, No Escape from Now, One of Those Days, 1,000 Shades, Mr. Darkness, Nothing Feels Right, Evil Shuffle, Degradation, Dead and God, God Only Knows, and The Dark Side Blues. And I actually picked up, this actually has an insert in it with your liner notes and your lyrics on it. I actually was fortunate enough to get a copy of the alternate cover for this. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not 100% certain. I think the other box comes with the alternate cover. It's obviously the same track listing, but I'll show you this as well. I don't think I've ever shown this. So, got that. I'm not sure which cover I like better. I think I might like this better just because it is, different than this. This cover is kind of almost two on the head, compared to this. So they're almost too similar for me. But whatever, it doesn't matter. The music contained within is what really matters. And now, got one last thing to show you here in the box, and then I'll actually get you a better look at the box now that it's empty and it doesn't weigh 30 pounds. That's the final Patient Number 9 poster right there. And now the box itself. Look at this thing. This thing is, it's monster thick. It's got to be like 5 inches thick. Embossed. Cover's very cool. Looks like a turntable from hell. And the interior that I was talking about with the picture of Oz up top, like I said, very well constructed. Should last a lifetime. So that's everything I have for this week. Hope Ozzy is having fun wherever he is in the great beyond. And really do appreciate all the music that he gave us. He gathered all the weird kids together. He was one of those guys that very misunderstood, I think, and he did good all the way through his life, and even up to the end. Raising over $190 million that went to Parkinson's research and went to Acorns Children's Hospital. Um, you know, you're known by the deeds you do, and he did a lot of good. It's like the stuff like the bat getting the headline and all that crap. Yeah, that it happened. Young and dumb. But as he aged, he found his way. I think we all do at a certain point. And it's good to see that being done, and hopefully it sparks others to do good as well. I've heard Billy Corgan of the Pumpkins say that they should have an Ozzy, charity concert every year. I dig that. If they got bands of that ilk together year after year and raise money for charity, I think that would be a wonderful thing. So that is everything I have for you this week. I am going to do what I call my catch-up episode, which is a whole bunch of stuff that I've picked up along the way that I haven't had the opportunity to show you. And then we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Thanks for your continued support. If you're new here, subscribe. If you're not new here and you haven't subscribed, I'm going to come to your house and beat your ass, so please subscribe. And as I always say, peace, one love, music, I'm out.